Didn't see you there. I'm Mr. Bart. How are you? I did want to just go over with you a few things here. What have I been doing? Well, today I did something, so I'll share it with you. I should have recorded it while I was doing it, but the thought never occurred to me to even do that. Guess that's what happens when you have 1 hour a day free of Childro. Anyway, if you're looking at the screen right now, you may be saying, what is going on, especially with this area here. This is called Streamlabs OBS. It's a program I use to do a screencast, and I can live stream to YouTube if I wanted to. If you saw the previous post in the class, I did one of these for the video game modding class where I was playing a game and capturing. So that's the name of this program. It's available for both Mac and the PC. It's also 100% free. It does ask you to do a Prime membership, but you really don't need to do that. So this is what I did today when I had a slight amount of free time. And this is just something I did. I've had it on my mind for a while, and I'm not sure about you, but I know if I have something on my mind and I don't end up doing it, it continues to bounce around in there. So I just prefer to get it done and out of my mind. And it's not completed yet, because ideally what I want to do is create a GIF and make it my GIF for when you see me in classroom and things like that. But it was going to be 10 years, like all my 10 photos of the 10 years I've been teaching, but I took out a couple because they were just so bad. You'll see. So, cool little animation there. And I think, is this the one that has, yeah, this is the one that has all of them, I believe. See, like this one was actually one of my favorites. And that one, they were just so off that the morph effect, which is not even really a morph effect. It is, the transition right there. The transitions in Final Cut. It's called flow, and it does try to do a morph effect, but you can see it if the pictures are somewhat similar, it does a really good job with it. But if they're not similar at all, not so much. Well, remote learning plans. Not what we need to do right now. But you can see I've been busy helping people out with their videos they're getting out there. So it's a bunch of still photos that I took. Where did I get these? Well, luckily enough, before we were not allowed to go back to school, I scanned them in. These are all my... Whoa! Looks like my computer's about to take off. All right, there you go. It's not taking off anymore. I'm going to open these with GIMP 2.10. GIMP 2.10, it's a... alternative to Photoshop. The nice thing about it is you can get it to act just like Photoshop as well. If you just search GIMP Photoshop and you're at least somewhat tech savvy, it has a whole preference pane you can put into it, and it makes it act just like Photoshop. I would contend even better, because it has I did have to add this in, but this is really great feature. I guess I'll show you in a minute. But you can see these are what they started off as, my photos. I had scanned them in, like I said, before we were not allowed to be at school any longer. And then I went through and just, again, took the little bit of free time that I had today and put all the pictures together. Then I did have to end up resizing quite a few, because you can see this year, I don't know why, I guess because of my face, they decided to get the camera really far away. But they're at different focal lengths. My face is at different stages of turn. It's really wild. I don't know, this current year might be my favorite. Anyway, what I was going to show you is, again, this is a little bit of an add-on, but this is all free. GIMP, that is, and this filter thing. It's It's called G-Mic. And you can see it has all these really cool filters and effects. 522 to be precise. And so many cool things you can do with it. It does take a little bit of time. On some of them are a little bit more intensive than others. And as I was putting together the video that I want to become a GIF of my face morphing, I was considering like putting an effect on this just to kind of normalize the look, but it just kept looking strange. Not that strange, but I think one that I was sort of considering was illustration look or graphic novel. I know, yeah, so like that. And it looked okay here, but I'll just apply it. Graphic novel's another good one. Plus there's all sorts of things to just make your photos look a lot better, which is really cool. Like these are extreme examples, the artistic ones, but a lot of them have more subtle improvements. Computer's taking off again. Apply it. Okay. We'll see if it's a big difference between my first year and then my most current year. You see, like, just the picture looks a little bit different. So I figured I'll stay with the normal one. Though now I'm looking at this now, I'm thinking to myself, maybe I should go back to, maybe this was the one that looked really strange. Well, I mean, come on, they all look very strange. But that's just due to the subject matter. I'm talking about my face. I'm saying my face is funny looking. Yeah, see, like that. I guess. Oh, maybe I'll go back and try it because this does look good. I would have to bump up the illustration look on it. I'm gonna try that out. It does take a while for this to. Wow, that's taking a long while. Okay, just hit OK. Maybe that works. So maybe I'll do that because, as you saw, I only have the 8. You can still see it's like a canceled. Pretty big difference between that and that, and it kind of comes down. I wish I had the original versions, which maybe I do have them somewhere, or I could possibly get them somewhere, but it would just take a long time. And I did have all my IDs, so I figured I'd just go with that. Anyway, that's how I isolated each of those. Had them all there, and I exported them as a PNG, but of course they came out upside down because I don't know. I don't know. Why did they be upside down? So first thing I had to do when I was in Final Cut is just flip them. How many times can I hit Command Z? I'm undoing all the work that I've done, and I'm just holding down Command Z. You can see I just I'll zoom out. So I don't know how good that's gonna come out. Hi all you cool cats and kittens. What just happened? Well, let me tell you, I continued to talk for, I think it was 9 minutes, about what I was doing in the project. Little did I know, when I maximized the screen in Final Cut, it ceased to be recording in Streamlabs. So here's what I just went over. But this is the second time I've done it. Interestingly enough, a point I was making in the project was you have to expect that stuff like that is going to happen. Things aren't going to go as planned, and then just be able to kind of roll with it and not get too down on yourself. Down on yourself or down on the situation, because things are going to go wrong, things beyond your control. All you can do is persevere. In addition, before I forget, taking things out, like I think it was No, that one was left in. Oh, I guess this one already has all the bad ones out. They're all bad. Come on, look at the subject matter. It's my face. I don't know if I made that joke before because of the whole recorded nothing for 9 minutes. So I'm sorry if that's a repeat. But for what you're paying to watch this, worth the price of admission. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so I've taken out the 2 that didn't look so good. Yeah, it didn't look like it. And the nice thing about Final Cut, it does back everything up. So, ID. So maybe this is, I did that because when I drag it into this, so this is the backup library that I got from the backup folder that Final Cut makes on its own. I'm trying to resize it so you can see, like, and that's just like the time at which it was created. And I'm doing this because when I was doing the example, when I wasn't actually recording the screen, okay, so this isn't actually what I wanted at all. I'm going to undo everything that I've done, as I was doing before I got interrupted by myself stopping the entire recording process. But this time I'll just undo a ton. And I will not make the same mistake I made. What I did was actually, you can see down in the timeline, I had put in titles there. The titles were there because I needed a frame of reference for my eye. Anyway, the dots over my eyes. Okay, so here we are at the beginning. I'll probably edit out all this part. Being okay with having things go wrong. Believe me, a lot of things are going wrong. You're watching it. You understand. Shift Command Z to redo. Yeah. Okay, so the first thing I had to do was, they're all upside down. I flipped one 90 degrees, coming up here. Going to transform 180, you can see. And if you look at this one, it's not 180, it's 0 degrees. And I then copied this. I'm not going to do it because that would ruin everything. It would not allow me to command redo stuff, that's what I mean to say. And paste that effect to all these other ones. So I didn't have to do the same thing, like select one, put in the 180 degree thing over and over. I just had to do this, copy it, select all these, and you go edit, paste attributes, and you can choose which attributes you want to paste onto all the other clips or any other clip you have selected. Here I'm retiming and putting in a transition called flow, and it just kind of has a morph effect. But you can see my face is at different lengths. I made the joke earlier. I'll make it again now. Why is this one so far away? I don't know. Probably because my face was in it. They wanted to get further away from my face. The people taking the photo because of my bad face. Huh. I think it's an okay joke. Yeah, no? Okay, that's fine. But to deal with that and the fact that I'm trying to line up my eyes, which you can see I add in these things, these pink dots. Those are just, it's a period. So instead of putting in the title with all the letters and everything, I just put 2. Because I want a frame of reference visually to try to put my eyes here, because those can be the bridge to carry you over cuts, cut on motion or something like that, but it's just like the eyes would maintain throughout. So to carry you from year to year, there would be some sort of constant there. But when I'm doing that, I'm sure I'm just doing a lot of color grading. You can see I had to move it, resize this one, and I've gone through and resized all these other ones as well. And there's a lot of inconsistency there, because again, with this one, it was so far away, I had to bring it in. So how do I make it more consistent? It's something I was attempting to do. I put back on the effects as well. Then I turned off the pink things on the eye. I just put in a black screen. Just custom black. It's up here as a generator. And it's literally just called custom. Expand this out a little bit. You can see it. Think of this as a black piece of paper, and what I'm going to do is, what you'll see is I'm going to come down here and do masks, and then do a shape mask. And when I add the shape mask in, you can see by default it like cuts out a circle. But then there's a little button right here that says invert the mask, which I then click. There you have it. But then I'm going to have to resize it. You can see I resize it and then I'm going to make it try to look okay. Then we'll have some consistency. So like even though these are at two different lengths, there's a consistency to how we're seeing it here. And then who knows what I was doing here. I'm just trying to test out, like I changed the duration. So if you click on this, you can actually zoom in here. You can change how long these are. You can see that little symbol means if I'm not going to do it, because if I do, I wouldn't be able to redo all the way to the end. It would change the future in that way. If I wanted it to be a longer morph transition, flow transition, I could do that. And you can see I extended this, and I don't need to copy and paste the attributes to this one, because I was just able to expand that over the length of the entire timeline. Okay. I somehow got to the end again. Well, that's not the end I remember. Yeah, probably because I added in, made a mistake again. And the mistake I made was when I, earlier in this, I dragged the old, I'll show you. I dragged that old one that I actually ended up deleting in, and that changed where I was. But, I'll just take it from here and show you what I did. I had to make the choice to say, hey, look, these two, they're not very good, and they screw up the morph. Like, it wasn't a very good movement, so to speak. Get rid of all that. You can see here, so this one's off too. I'm gonna zoom in. I think it's that way. Again, I'm just trying to line up the eyes as best as possible. Sometimes the morph doesn't like it though. I keep calling it a morph, it's the flow effect. Yeah, like some of them just didn't. This one's not awful. Aside from the face, it's not awful. But the other two that I just deleted, I couldn't get them to work at all. I will indeed. We can attempt to get this one to work. render. You see this little line right here, means it needs to render. Okay, that's decent enough. Yeah, the other part, like this one, you can see how there's like a lack of color because I had a balanced color on, but I can also just go to the color here and I can bring up the saturation if I wanted. I'll slightly do it if I don't want to waste all your time of me doing this, but this is what I would do. I'd go in and individually adjust on each and every one of them. You know, that's not a situation where you can do a copy and paste the attributes. It's color grading, so you'd have to go into each one and kind of try to make it match. It is a lot of tedious work. The outcome is awesome though, if you can get good at color grading, because the way you can make things look is significantly better than the way they are in reality sometimes. It's like your human Instagram filter. This one's too big. The ego. Okay, so pretty good ending there. Some of the subject matter is not good, and that's even aside from my face. I'm just saying that to be funny. I don't really feel that way about my face. Though if I say that, then I kind of sound conceited, so. But no, I'm fine. In. Out. Then I'm going to drag and drop this. I don't need any of the terrible music that I'm sure they have on there. Copy, paste, it's going to paste up there. Yeah, I'll slow it down. Why not? So this is like a dust effect. I'm doing this because the inconsistency in the quality of the photos. It could be a photo. I do this all the time with video though. I can cover that up by adding something like this. Normally I will deteriorate the quality of the video or the film. Adding something like pixelization, again, because it almost has it make sense to do that. Or at least has you can create a consistency where it makes sense that it looks terrible. Why didn't that work? Okay, it did there. There we go. And when I originally did this, same thing, it didn't work. It's strange. It works on the second try. I used a number of... Oh, we don't want that. So you can see I had a frame or so left of the white screen, which would not have keyed out. I have to take it out there as well. So what I'll probably do anyway is just go back to GIMP and use the artistic, or what is it called? The filter that makes it look like this for my final version of this. That will add, along with like the dust and stuff, but normal course of events, if I weren't doing that extra step with GIMP, I could come in here and find like, Well, Comic Basic might actually... Comic Cool might work. Let's try Comic Vintage. So I placed it on here, copy, and I'm holding down the Command key, and I'm selecting all the other ones, Command Shift V, pasting attributes. I only want to paste the vintage comic attribute, so I uncheck everything else, and then I select that, paste, and it's now added it to each and every one. Hit and miss, because sometimes it looks good, other times not so much. Outside of my face. Seems like it needs to be. I'm gonna undo this. I'm gonna undo it because I'm gonna adjust a few things here. Yeah, that could maybe work. It would help to, and if you're ever in Final Cut and you want to reset something, that button. But the gray might work. It's weird, because it looks like at some point it just stops. What's the 6? Let me add some more. Maybe that will help with the other ones. Well, we'll try it. Again, made those adjustments. Then I'm going to highlight all the other ones. Command Shift V. Paste the attributes, but only the Comic Vintage. Paste. Like how I have no hair in any of the, like that. Yeah. Again, it's because they're so different. The easiest one I know is Pixelate. And I say that because I know it will make it look really bad, quality-wise. As you can see, like but it's intentionally making it look bad. So copy. Intentionally making it look bad. And Comic Vintage. I think, okay, why not? If it weren't for my hair looking completely gone, I guess I could go in and adjust this one. Yeah, the cool thing would be, like, I could add some keyframes here. Put one here. This is going to look very strange because it's going to show that. Meaning, watch as I go backwards. See, it's like, so it's going to like almost animate the. It goes too fast to be cool, but. Yeah, it's just not gonna look good. Anyway, yeah, I'm not trying to complain. I'm just showing you guys what I'm doing. And this is how I would work. I would spend a lot of time on that. Because to me, this isn't work. This is just like what I would do if I had an hour break during the day. Not every day, because I do have, you know, things outside of this that I enjoy, but yeah, I could sit here and work on this for quite some time without being bored, because I know in the end it will look awesome if I spend the time to do it. Yeah. Anyway, so what I would do is just export this when it's done and then somehow figure out a way to create a GIF. You know, Giphy, I think, is one of them. Like, you can upload and stuff. I'm not a huge fan of that. I just try and find a way to, create one on my own, because I do want it to just be the square, like maybe the square, but I don't want it to be the whole rectangle. Anyway, at this point, I'll go back to the last video, because I did, I did, like, shrink I went like this, and then I shrank it back, like that. So, take it away, former me. When I first started editing stuff, when I was your age, back in 2002, I had a copy of Adobe Premiere when it was first out, and it crashed all the time, and I'd lose all sorts of work. And it's along the lines of, like, you gotta be able to just let stuff go, even though it may seem very important. Let stuff go to tell the best story. Things are gonna go wrong, and when they go wrong, you can get upset, and I could that's not gonna do anything. I can just use what I've learned from that first experience and make it better. So in this instance, I'll probably go back and add that effect that we were just doing in GIMP. And hopefully that makes them look better as well. Anyway, I just wanted to share this with you. This is what I've been up to. Not really. What I've been up to is trying to entertain a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old. One about to be 2 in 2 weeks, and then a 3-year-old who's going to be 4 next month. That's been my life. But you know what? Everything's okay by and large. It's just keeping them entertained, and then finding some fun stuff to do with you guys too. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video and that it wasn't super awkward. It's almost 20 minutes. You're supposed to have 20 minutes a day. Oh, that's just something my kids drew. Yeah. It's supposed to be the shortcut to stop recording.